All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Montreal Rocks. And I know it's very, very cliche to say my guest needs no introduction, but in this case, if hockey didn't exist, listening to this man play guitar might be the Canadian national pastime. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Paul Langlois of the Tragically Hip and the Paul Langlois Band. Paul, welcome to Montreal Rocks.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
So, Paul, I hear you're releasing, seen a new song online with the Paul Langlois Band. Tell me what you guys have cooking. What's going on?
Well, the album called Guess What comes out today. So I got a few friends that texted me and, saying congratulations, that kind of stuff. And it's great to finally get here. But I got a good bunch of guys in the band. I live in Kingston. They're all Kingston buddies. And we played a few shows, but we worked hard on the record, recorded it in a week in November. And so it's just taken a long time to get here. That's the nature of putting out albums. And I'm just very happy about it. I'm actually a little bit proud about it that I actually managed to coax some songs out of my head and heart.
That's amazing. Speaking of that, you have done work with a solo as the Paul Langlois Band before. Does it feel any different this time now that you're not really working with the Tragically Hip right now? And is this kind of taken on a different life to you?
I would say so. It's very different and very difficult to be front and center and the singer. It's not. It's something that I prefer to be a right winger to a centerman, and I like with all the focus on Gord Downie over the years. I was very comfortable off to the side and just, it's very different to come out there and specifically speaking about doing a live show and being front and center and sort of maybe the focus and having the host. I mean, do I talk between songs or do I not? I mean, I don't even know. It's just something I have to get used to. And we've played a few shows here and there, and so far with Paul Langlois Band, and I feel like I'm getting better at it. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable, and I certainly wasn't at first.
I feel like you had a pretty good frontman to show you the ropes. You had a pretty good front row seat to watching him go for a long time. So
yeah, accidentally. I mean, it wasn't like I was looking to do my own thing, but over the years, I did a couple records about 10 years ago, and I caught everything he said. Gord said, just about sort of his approach to being that person, being a front person, and I took it in, and he's like, the most important thing is to look at people and smile and just be like he did everything else too, but I'm not going to do that stuff, but really just look people in the eye, admit that you're having a great time and show it. Don't it's just, I don't want to be a shoegazer. I want to engage the crowd, and that was a big motivation for Gord, was engaging the crowd.
So speaking of Gord, when I asked some friends, some very big hip fans, and I told them I was interviewing you, and one question I asked, like, for the big fans, is there a question you like asked? And this one came up, this being Montreal and all. And yeah. Gord very vocal about his fandom of the Bruins. So a lot of people ask, they're like, does Paul suffer from the same affliction, or are you a Maple Leafs fan? Are you?
Oh God, no. No, I'm a Habs fan. It was bred into me, Langlois, and yeah. I was bred to hate the Leafs. And then people in Kingston, there's a Boston connection because of, Wayne Cashman and Don Cherry and that kind of thing. And so there
Yeah.
are a lot of Bruins fans here. And that led me to not like the Bruins at all. I mean, I watched so many games with Gord because he was kind of desperate to see them when we were on the road. And, I'm
Yeah.
just like going to a Bruins game, like a bar to watch a Bruins game like that. That was, wasn't torture, but I always cheered against them. I still do.
Well, I'll make an admission that may not be popular in Montreal, but as you might tell by my tattoo, I'm also a Bruins fan. So,
Oh my God. Okay. Fair enough.
so for me, there's no judgment, but a lot of people are like, so is the entire band Bruins fans? Because it's just such an odd thing for an iconic Canadian band, and like if we had a national band, it would have been the Tragically Hip. So a lot of people. So I guess it wasn't the whole band, it was just Gord.
It was Gord. Gord was Harry Sinden's godson. So he came by it honestly because Harry and Gord's dad were uh, really good friends, best friends, when Gord was a baby. And so all the Downies, because he has two sisters and two brothers, they were all Bruins fans. It was just a guarantee. Robbie is a massive Leafs fan. Gord, Sinclair, and Johnny, they kind of go back and forth. They're not as committed to a team. I would say Johnny's kind of the Flyers and Gord Sinclair is the Blackhawks. Everyone kind of cheers for the Leafs, even me, ever since Doug Gilmour arrived there in the 90s and I lived in Toronto. So
Yeah.
now the Leafs are my second favorite team. But no, I can't. You can't help who you cheer for, and I'm a Habs fan.
So it's an example for world peace. You had a Bruins, a Habs, a Leafs, and a Blackhawks fan touring in a bus together and enjoying life. That's I think if you can do that, we can find common ground on anything.
Yeah, yeah. And we got lucky enough that a lot of our music was, being played in the dressing rooms as we were touring across the country. And, when we started playing arenas and stuff, we try and grab the arena and play hockey the day before if we could. And, we had good, great relationships with a bunch of players. And so we considered ourselves very lucky about that.
And how are things with the rest of the band now? Do you guys still like keep in touch? Are you still very close?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we have a Zoom call only because we got in the habit of it, during the pandemic, and so we have a Zoom call every 2 weeks. I golf with Gord Sinclair every Tuesday morning. We see Robbie lives in Kingston, so Gord and I and Robbie live in Kingston, and Johnny's in Toronto. But we're very much in touch. We have stuff, going on. We're like digging for material that people haven't heard before, and we have a studio that's fully running and gets rented out just outside Kingston and Bath, and so we just have lots to talk about. And yeah, we're very tight still, and we didn't really do our grief together. It might have been a mistake. For probably a year or two after Gord died, we weren't that in touch, and we weren't that enthusiastic about being in touch. But a couple of years went by, and we kind of found each other again, and just realized that Gord wants us to keep going in some ways, and we need it too. That it's not like we were together 6 or 7 years. It was 30 some years, and so it's just what we do and who we are. And yeah, so and very proud. That was our biggest accomplishment, even when Gord was alive, is that we remained great friends the whole time, and mutually supportive, and nice to each other. And so and had a lot of fun together. So we're keeping that up for sure.
Yeah, well, it's a very unique thing that you guys accomplished. Whereas like, and I tried explaining this to an American friend, how the Tragically Hip is a Canadian band, because we were talking about the final concert that happened and how basically it was broadcast for free on CBC, and that like the entire country was watching this, and he couldn't. And I'm like, and I was trying to explain it to him, and I'm like, it's like Bruce Springsteen to you, but I'm like, not even. Like, they wouldn't do that for Bruce Springsteen. So, you know, that love was spread out to 5 people, and I think you guys accomplished a lot. So,
Oh, thanks.
So now looking towards the future, what can you tell fans about the Paul Langlois Band, and what you're working towards, and what to expect?
Yeah, well, we're you know, the record comes out today, and we have a few festival shows lined up for the summer. Ontario really only, and it's just to kind of, you know, dip the toe in the water and see how it goes and what the reaction is. I mean, so far so good. We just played a festival, Mariposa Festival in Aurelia this past weekend, and you know, it went great. And I feel very good with the band. The band feels very good in general, and it's, you know, it's a fairly rock and roll show, and so we're gonna play these festivals, and then we'll see what happens in the fall. We'll just sort of gauge. You know, we'd like to play shows. Given a couple of the guys in the band would love to quit their jobs and do this full time. But we're just gonna have to see. But we're certainly, and Montreal has come up. The desire to play Montreal, the desire to play, you know, all these places like Vancouver and Halifax, everywhere in between. There is a desire, but we'll see whether maybe it's fall, maybe it's winter. We just got to sort of gauge and figure it out as we go. But we got a few shows this summer, like 5 or 6 festivals, and we'll start with that, and we know they're going to be fun.
All right. Well, we're going to heavily throw out Montreal out there as a, you know, we're more than happy to host you guys and to bring you in. So,
thanks. I love Montreal. One of my
we'll be
cities.
looking we'll be looking forward to that, and best of luck with the album and the tour. We look forward to seeing you here hopefully in the fall. And thank you very much for taking the time, Paul.
Oh, well, thanks very much for having me. Appreciate it. And have a good rest of the day.
You too. Thanks.